Hey guys, Rabbit here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today we have a pretty cool game for you. I'm pretty excited about this. We have spawning in the top left on Vermeer 2.1. It is Hawk, probably one of the best foreign Zerg players to have ever played this game, and he is playing against the infamous and incredibly well-known Terran Artosis, playing under his Smurf name My Main ID. I was kind enough to actually have both players send me this game, so I messaged to them on Discord saying, hey, I heard you guys played a cool game on stream the other day. Do you mind sending me the replay? And both of them were kind enough to do so. So thanks to both of you guys. I'm really looking forward to bringing this to you. They were playing a couple of fun games, friendly games on stream. One of my Discord members sent me a message saying, hey Rabbit, there was a really cool game between Artosis and Hawk that you might want to cast. So thanks for the recommendation, guys. I am quite looking forward to see what happens here. Alright, so ZVT on Vermeer, very balanced map. I've been doing a lot of casts on this map for all the matches, and I'm really starting to get a flair for and an improved understanding of ZVT. So I'm very excited to see what we're going to get from both players today. I have cast a game of Artosis's relatively recently where he went mech, but that was quite a long time ago. I think modern Artosis, in other words, November 2022 Artosis, which is who we're looking at today, is a bio player. Plays the bio builds, vessel support. Sometimes he adds in a tank here or there, but that seems to be his style. And he seems to also be a little bit more aggressive when he plays the TVZs. Hawk is just an incredibly solid, very calm player. He seems to absorb pressure very well. I've just finished casting a PVT of his against Boa, and it was just an unbelievable game. One of the best PVZs I've ever watched. So I just have an even bigger appreciation of what is an already incredible player. So he looks like he's just gone a 12, 11, 10. So in other words, 12 hatch, 11 pool, 10 gas, which is bog standard for your Zerg opening. And it looks like Artosis is just gearing up for a gasless Rax expand. So let's see how we go. Macro opens tend to mean macro games, tend to mean big fights. I'm pretty sure we can look forward to lurkers, defilers, dark swarm, all those juicy things. Because it's cross spawn again, the likelihood of the game ending early is always a lot lower. So is this drone going to try and block the command center? Nope, because the marine comes in time. So as predicted, a Rax expand from Artosis, a very standard and strong meta build in this match, and it'll be interesting to see if it is going to be a Mutalisk harassment build on 2 bases, or if he's going to go for what we like to call the 2.5 hatch build, or if he's going to try and set up a 3rd at a new location. Let's see. Artosis' scouts going around going, okay, well, I'm seeing absolutely everything I'm expecting to see and nothing less. Hawk not really building a lot of lings at this stage. He's probably, when his drone was down here, saw the command center and therefore correctly anticipated that it is a Rax expand, and then he knows the timings of when he could expect the buyer to move out should coincide more or less with the timing of his muters. Apologies if I do sniff during the cast. The pollen count today, where I'm recording this game, is apparently 60. I've got absolutely no idea what this means, but I do know that my nose is pretty itchy, so that's probably got something to do with it. But I know that it can be irritating, and I apologize in advance. I'm trying my hardest not to do so. Alright, so this SCV has been alive for over 4 minutes, but he has now parted ways with us, and he would have not seen the spire coming up, but the experience of both players, they know what's coming. So it's not a big surprise for Artosis to expect Mutalisk harassment. That is probably just going to be what we would call standard play. So up comes the depot to create a little bit of a wall so you can skip on the bunker. And when do we see? So the academy is coming in. We're getting our stim. So it's a 2 Rax academy. The eBay should be around soon because of the upgrades and because of the requirement to have turrets. So Artosis is going to know that at about 6.5 minutes, I think the timing is, that Mutalisk will be incoming, and therefore he's going to need to be prepared for the harassment and have his turrets in the right place. plays against Zerg players on the ladder very, very often, so he kind of knows what to expect, and therefore no real concerns in terms of how to deal with it. I think the Overlord placement from Hawk and the Ling placement from Hawk is there for early warnings in the event of a move out with a small bio ball, which is generally just designed to try and force out a couple of Sunkens, reducing the Zerg economy. We don't see any movements at this stage. The first scan has gone down, so Artosis is now able to confirm 100% for sure that it is going to be muteless. He is looking like he's going to do a 5 racks plus 1 more aggro build here. Looks like he's gearing up for that. We'll have to just keep an eye on the progression. He does build the bunker. Here come the turrets. So the eBay was in place on time. As mentioned before, those mutilasts are on the way. The first one's being built now. Here they come. Hawk's timing is really crisp. Moving his units out sub 6 minutes, man. That is S-rank Zerg play for sure. So harassing the natural doesn't seem to be particularly attractive, although I think it takes 7 meters to one-shot an SCV. So if we're going to see a clinic in how this works, this is probably how it will be, because this is going to be the number. It's exactly 7 here. So skips there. He's like, nah, 3 turrets is too many. I'm good. I'm going to go another way. So flying around, just posturing, waiting for another muta buddy to come and help. Maybe he wants a bigger number before he starts. Here we go. Picks off 1, picks off 2. 2 SCVs beautifully picked off just for minimal damage on a few meters that re-heal. That's what makes them so powerful and so annoying. So range for the Marines is still on its way. That is a very important upgrade for Artosis, because being able to hit these mutas from further away is going to be very, very important for him to fend them off. How's our main looking? Okay, so he spread his bio ball around the main. He does have turrets in pretty good spots here as well. So no particular position, I guess, is very vulnerable. He's floating his factory, so I think the factory is only there to be able to get his starport going and progress in his upgrades. I don't think we're going to see any factory units at this stage, though he does land it. So maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe we do see a couple of siege tanks at a later stage. He's going double starport, so maybe Wraiths or Valkyries. It's interesting that you see a double starport at this stage. You wouldn't need to try and get vessels out. Unless he wants to just do double vessel. Oh, the muta's got a bit stuck there. That wasn't particularly great micro from Hawk. I think he took more casualties than what he had to. Good positioning from Artosis. So 3 racks, double starport, 1 engineering bay doing upgrades. I presume pretty soon that's going to become 2, so he's going to be doing double upgrades on his bio. So Hawk enjoying the map control that the mutas are giving him. He's setting up his 3rd base in the adjacent position, which is fairly common for Zerg players to do that, and they reinforce with things like Niduses, and obviously the mobility of the mutas really helps. How many is that? It's only 8 mutas. This is quite a lot of bio. Expecting that they may potentially be out of position, he's looking to do some counter harassment. He does have a turret that's just 3 racks, double control tower. What is Artosis up to? Just very, very spicy. Science facility is on its way, building a medic. Behind a little bit on supply, and it's because a lot of the times I've been looking at his main, his barracks are not working. So missing a lot of rounds of macro for the sake of tech. He is now building 2 science vessels, so he's just prioritized quick vessels. So the double starport is just really to enable him to build science vessels. So it is really just a vessel bio build as quickly as possible. Now going into 5 racks. It's 5 racks, double vessel, 1 eBay, and now these mutas, because the Bible have kind of moved out of position a little bit, have been able to do some harassment, although now he needs to get out of dodge quickly, and he does. So I think Hawk is pretty far in the lead here, both in supply and just in terms of position in this game. Artosis is going to have a tough time getting out onto the map, taking a 3rd. I think the style of this build is probably going to force him to have to attack and try and break down a base, otherwise he's just going to be too far behind. If he leaves Hawk alone for too much longer, then it's pretty much game over. Pick up the mutas here just to kind of, I think, keep an eye on what's moving out where. Behind this, I'm pretty sure you'll see some lurkers coming into play. In fact, as I say, that 7 just morphed in. Nidus Canal to reinforce the other base. He already has his hive. He's building a defiler mound, getting carapace. So Hawk is progressing beautifully with his build. And our friend Artosis is still just on the... No, now he's on the double eBay. Okay, so he's basically going Vessel, Bio, let's go. So we're going to see a lot of irradiates. We're going to see a lot of infantry units. We're probably going to go up to 8 racks eventually. We're pretty soon going to need a third base, which I think what these viewers are here to check for the timing on. And obviously they want to gauge and move on. So where does Artosis go? Because obviously he's going to need some lurkers and potentially some sunkens on the Zerg side. And where is he going to pressure? It feels to me like he's going to try and take the expansion. You see this a lot from very, very advanced, experienced Terran players. They very seldom go into the natural of the Zerg. They tend to always try and focus down the expansion. It's going to have the fewest production facilities. Of course, Zerg to counter this uses a Nidus, which eliminates the distance between where his hatcheries and main production facilities would be and where he is now. So let's get a hatch count on our Zerg. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're a 4 hatching Zerg against... Okay, here he goes up the ramp, but those are very, very stacked lurkers. So they have just picked off... Oh my god, that was a lot of bio. That was... Ow! That really, really hurt. 69 plays 87, but he has killed all the lurkers, but he took heavy, heavy casualties. More lurkers coming in there from the Nidus. Artosis has got to get out of dodge here. He's just going to sustain too many heavy casualties. The Link's coming in here now. The micro on the vessel's not ideal. He loses both of them to mutas, and that was really, really not a good attack at all. Hawk came out on the other side of that beautifully. 90 plays 65. He could potentially move in now and even try and kill Artosis. I'm not sure how he's going to respond. He does send the mutas down to potentially do some counter harassment because he knows he sustained a lot of casualties. It's going to be a case of what angle does he choose. A lot of turrets here though, so I don't know if muta harassment is going to be that feasible. And of course the vessels are going to have irradiate and energy to irradiate, which again, if these mutas are in a clump, it's going to give them a world of pain. Alright, so the Nidus reinforcing. So this position is pretty damn hard to break. Where does Artosis go next? Okay, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, soon to be 6, 7, 8. So he's gone on to full 8 racks. So this is just 2 base Artosis. The meme and the stereotype and the he only plays off 2 bases that he gets so upset about. We get to see this here once again. I don't think he, to be fair to him this time, he took so much damage from the first attempt to break the space that he probably wasn't really in a position to expand. But he's going to need to expand pretty damn soon. Oh, there we go. Okay, so he had to go. And the mutas were like, nope, you can't have it, sorry. So, a couple of science vessels. Alright, so we're going to have to keep a track here. Now, how does this one go? They're not stacked. So he just looks like he's irradiating this. Okay, he's countering all the dark swarm. He's brought in a bio ball to re-establish his command center, so it is now going to very soon become a 3-basing Artosis. Perhaps I was a little bit unkind for not spotting the command center being built on construction. On location, shall I say. So the 3 bases will give him the power to run the 8 racks, and the third gas is so critical because he wants to constantly build 2 vessels at a time to make the strategy viable. Nice irradiates on the mutas, they're all clumped up, so that's pretty helpful. So this mutas time is probably gone, been and gone. It's now the time of the Lurker Ling for our Zerg friend and Defilers. And Artosis is coming back into it a little bit. It's 106 playing 117, but Hawk is most certainly still in stronger position. Let's look at our upgrades on our bio. 2-1, getting stronger. Nice plague on the vessels and moving a few lurkers down. So he actually wants to try and defend from the natural, which honestly from a Zerg point of view is a lot easier because you tend to be able to choke up a position. So Artosis goes, okay, well, I'm not going to try and break there. How strong is your natural? Difficult to see underneath all of this paraphernalia. There seems to be overlords, there seems to be hydras, there seems to be a lot of things. Feels that lurker kind of out in the middle of the open there for fun. Sound of the defilers eating zerglings. Beautiful sound. Radiates the defiler though beautifully there. That was really nicely done. So Artosis has actually now moved into the lead. Well, he was trailing on supply, but his 8 racks are just absolutely pumping, and this third base is giving him so much gas to be able to push out 2 vessels, although he's not building vessels at the moment. Interesting enough, he's building dropships, so we're going to have to track that to keep an eye on where he's going to try and drop, because drops in this match, particularly for Terran, can be devastating if executed well. So I like Terrans who use drops. I think it's advanced play. I think it's also a very strong play. Couple more mutas harassing. He does irradiate. Good split though. Keeps about 4 of them alive. He doesn't want to lose any vessels though. Does well to consolidate with the Marines. You pick off the remaining stragglers. Down to about 4 mutas now. So we want to keep our eyes on these dropships. Where do they go? What does he do with them? So a Bible moving across here just to check if Hawk's looking to expand. A Bible moving here to check if he's going to expand there. Hydras are out on the map, but I don't think he... Is he doing Hydras? Hawk, what are you doing? Hydras against Bio? That doesn't work, does it? Not that I know. He's got some Hydras. They've gone back into the main now. Getting creating missile attacks, so obviously seeing Hydras as a viable choice going into the mid game here, which is very, very interesting. You don't see that a lot, especially from high level Zerg players. But Hawk knows way more about this game than me, so let's see what he can do. Oh, really good play. That plague makes such a huge difference now. Those Hydras were hopelessly outnumbered. They probably still will all die, but he just gave them a fighting chance. I don't know if the Hydras can fire under the Dark Storm because they're ranged attack. So that also makes this choice pretty interesting. So 151 plays 156. Artosis floating quite a bit of money. He's not supply blocked. But I just don't think he has... Maybe, I don't want to say he doesn't have enough barracks, but just not able to spend all his money as quickly as he would ideally want to. Here comes this drop. I'm really, really glad I found this. 4 drop ships, but kind of waiting for it, kind of not. It's very, there's a lot of Marines that have moved in here. Oh, beautifully done on the Dark Swarm. So the Zerglings can't really have anything happen to this. Artosis moves around and moves into the drone line, which he's getting a lot of drones here. I think he was on 56 when this started. We'll have to keep an eye on how many drones he's got when he's done. The mutas though are still alive, and a lot of these Marines unfortunately were picked off. You would really do well to move these Marines around to support these Marines, because they're not doing anything just firing into the Dark Swarm, and he does do exactly that. So kind of pivoting around to this position to target down more drones, although Hawk counters nicely with the Dark Swarm, which means that the drones can't really be harmed too much. What does he have here to kill the Bio though when the Dark Swarm disappears is my question. I see 1 Hydra Lurker and that's it. He does have the Nidus to reinforce. He could probably consume and throw down yet another Dark Swarm to buy himself some more time. Meanwhile, there are a load of vessels here. Just irradiating one of them and moving up and down and killing this drone line would be massively profitable. I think a lot of Artosis' attention is going into microing this fight. He's potentially missing an opportunity there. And of course, Hawk being Hawk sends in a whole heap of Scourge to take the vessels that were 8 down to 4. That is masterful play by Hawk, and unfortunate for Artosis that he didn't see that before it was too late. The Lurker does come in here, and really Lurkers are so strong against Bio. A nice drop. I think Artosis has taken the lead. He's got 140 playing 110. Unfortunately though, he lost, must be 8 vessels there for free. And that just hurts. Every single vessel dead. I can feel Artosis' rage from here. That was just terribly unfortunate. A nice drop, but came at the expense of losing 8 vessels, and he could have killed this entire drone line just by irradiating one of those science vessels. Alright, so our upgrades must be entirely done, 3-2. So only the armor upgrade to go, because we're floating in eBay for scouting or sighting purposes. And we're moving into the next phase of this game. 152 plays 140, very entertaining so far. Lots of big fights, lots of pressure situations. A couple of mistakes from both players, so not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. But it does not take away the entertainment value. So Artosis moving out again with his max 3-3. It's just basically Vessel Bio. A very common play, or very common style from a lot of Terran players. You do see the tanks thrown in from time to time by some, but it looks like Artosis is pretty committed just by going with the irradiate on the vessels and the Marines and the medics and the fire bats to do the rest of the damage. So a nice little irradiate there, focusing on a couple of units. Got 2 defilers for his effort, which was really nicely done. And that shows the value in keeping your vessels alive. If you don't lose any vessels, you've just got so much irradiate at your disposal. So losing those 8 vessels when he did was really a hard blow to absorb. 2 command centers are being built at the moment. So Artosis decides behind this pressure to double expand. I can't see where. Okay, so that's where he's building it. He's probably going to float it here. So that's good to see. I think understanding now that he could really go into a powerful macro position by moving on to 5 bases. Also, presumably his main and his nat are virtually done, so they're just about to mine out. He needs 3 mining bases to sustain all these racks and to be able to contend with the power. Kill that, please. Kill what, please? Medic. eBay just floating there. You don't see Artosis type very often in games unless he's swearing at someone. It's interesting. Oh! Nice good plague again. Just the plagues in this game from Hawk have been so good. I think that is the one downside of Bio, obviously, is that the plagues really do sting. And the medics run out of energy really fast, so he's understood that he's plagued almost the entire heap of units, but he still can't really pick them off because there's enough healthy ones in between, and they're kind of just shooting all these units down before they can get anywhere. Vessels have arrived to reinforce. We have 2 clumps here. We have the 4 dropships again, so we're looking like we're going to do another drop. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what damage you can do. So radiating it again, more lurkers. Targeting down this position. Interestingly enough, the number of Hydras that he's kept in his composition here. Hawk playing Hydra Link with the odd Lurker and Defiler is a unique style of game, but it's really fun to watch. Okay, so our dropships are just chilling here. What do you have in you, Mr. Dropship? You're loaded up with Marines. Where are you going is the question. I'm going to track these dropships unless we see anything else on the minimap worth watching. Just a couple of skirmishes here. Dark Swarms. Oh, another plague on the vessel. That's really nicely done. Picking up even more science vessels. The Hydras are going to try and do that damage with the ranged attack that they do have. Pulling back with this now. I think Artosis' attention is going to move away into his dropships pretty soon. Here they come. Alright, so they drop smack bang into... Some of them have dropped in the natural, some of them have dropped in the main. That is so many things to keep track of, damn. Alright, so here they come and they're going to have fun wrecking the tech. They get back here, they pick up a few units. So now Hawk's attention is really split. I think he's about to also get the Defiler mount. Takes down another hatchery. This is a really profitable drop. Good Dark Swarm, good reactions from Hawk. Difficult to get up here, and some of these Hydras are really blocking the pathing. He's moving straight into the main. He's going to potentially get the hive and the spawning pool. There's no real counter harassment or other plates to be concerned about, so this is really where the action is at the moment. Nicely done by Hawk, bringing in enough units to probably pick off this remaining bio. In fact, it's 178 playing 165, so these drops look like they do so much damage, but they cost so many resources and so many units that Hawk's actually in the lead in spite of what looked like a very impactful drop. Artosis is taking yet another base. He's becoming a macro maniac here, getting all of these command centers up and running. Going to have a tough time reinforcing that. So that's one of those bases you take and you just hope your opponent doesn't scout it. Having these units here is going to give him a little bit of early warning. But yeah, he's going to have to keep his eye on space. He does have 3 units to protect it, but that isn't going to help much if you need something. Doesn't really matter though, because he's continuing to take a aggressive posture in this match, radiating a few more units. He's got 5 vessels here. If he hadn't lost any vessels in this game, it would probably be over. He would just have so much to radiate at his disposal. But unfortunately, it's just very difficult to micro absolutely everything all the time. So I think Hawk is setting up here for a flank. He sensed that this attack is coming and these lurkers are coming around the back. Oh, what a shot that was. There must have been 10 Marines dying at once. Oh, and the vessel goes down. The Hydras have been masterfully deployed here by Hawk to shoot down vessels. That's really been one of the reasons why he's kept Hydras in his comp, and he's killed so many vessels with Hydras. It's been unbelievable. So how to play with Hydras in a ZVT. This has been an excellent demonstration. How do you ever lose with this? Yeah, that's a fair question. I think playing with the Hydras is something that Artosis wouldn't have faced a lot on the ladder. You don't see it a lot. The Hawk playing this. Hawk's reply, I love that. How do you ever lose this? I don't. I'm just that good. So enjoy that. Some very nice play. He said he was joking. He pulled it back. He pulled it back. He says he does get broken. But Hydra Lurker, I'm certainly going to be working Hydra Lurker into this title. That is it's been really, really well demonstrated. Look at this. I mean, this is just, if you're a Terran, this is terrifying, man. So Artosis has done some of what we want to see him doing, building command centers. This one is here. There are no SCVs at it, and that's probably a good thing. Because Hawk's terrifying Ling Hydra Lurker comp is on his front door, and that is going to be the end of that. Is he going to come and scout this? So knowing that Hawk's army is out on the map playing, he's like, okay, well, then I'm just going to come in here and wreck the space because you've moved everything out. So what does Hawk do? He's not going to circle back. He's still got his vessels here. He could do that already, a trick that I've discussed. But he said, you know what, stuff it. You can have that base. I'm going to pressure some of your bases. These Hydras and this ranged attack gives a dynamic to this army that you just don't have to face as Terran very often, is that your buildings can get picked off by ranged attacks so fast, and it is absolutely devastating. Meanwhile, we're still irradiating. Come on, do the drone trick! He doesn't want to do the drone trick. Nice irradiates there on a few lurkers. The counter's still coming, so this base has gone down, but so has this base of Artosis. This one has not got anything happening. This one's pretty unprotected. He's got some unworking workers, and that's about it. A couple more SCVs just getting picked off as they were probably being transferred to another area. There's idle dropships, idle vessels. He's got a lot of idle activity at this stage, does Artosis. He's building fire out of his units. He's actually managed to save that command center, which is pretty nicely done. He's moving in here. Lots of Dark Swarm, though, defending this position. Artosis has advanced on this top right position of Hawks many, many times in this game. He's never really looked like breaking it. I think that first drop was really, really good, and it was really, really close. But Hawk's composure was unbelievably good, and he managed to hold on to it. And he's kind of just chilling here with these Hydras. There's probably too many Marines and vessels to break anything. And then on the same token, Artosis is just chilling here going, well, I don't know if I can get through here with all this damn Dark Swarm. Oh my god, the Ultras have arrived. We've got some more spice to look forward to here, ladies and gentlemen. The Ultras are coming. They've got their speed, they've got their upgrades, and they are going to cause so much pain. Ultraman! Here we go. Oh man, that is just scary, 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 scary. The bio just melts against Ultras. He's now going to need tanks, and he's just not in a position to make them. Where is his factory? His factory's floating. He'd have to get a shop. He'd have to start machine upgrades or vehicle upgrades. It's just too much ground to cover in too little time. Crackling Ultra just very, very powerful against Terran. He's moving in on this position with it. He has to kind of counter. It's almost a little bit of a base trade. The Dog Swarms are buying a little bit of time, but it doesn't really help that much. What does he have up here? He's got a lot of links, so he's just going to take really, really long to break this position. The natural's been broken. The science vessel is going to go down, which is going to block his ability to build any vessels. He's got the SCVs up on the ramp, which will certainly slow the progress. These numbers have been thinned by cracklings coming from the outside position because there are 3 hatcheries pumping here. He's got plenty of money, plenty of drones, and in fact, just to make this even more sweet, he's going to go reinforce this position or potentially move on this base if he has scouted it. So does Hawk know this is here? I'm pretty sure he does. There he goes. So a couple of radiated Ultras are going to move in here. That's actually going to hurt this mineral line unless this Ultra dies before. He's picking up SCVs, but that's Ultra's going to go down pretty fast. The Hydras are here though, and lots more are coming across, and they're going to pick off all of these SCVs. I'm afraid we need to say a prayer for our friend Artosis because he's not going to win this game. This has been a beautiful clinic on how to play Hydra Lurker from Hawk. And to counteract these vessels, he killed so many vessels, and then he just threw in the Ultras, I think, towards the end as a little bit of a death blow for sure. So Artosis has re-established this position. Meanwhile, Hawk did find this with a few lings. Unfortunately, I missed that, but his map awareness is really, really strong, and there was no way Artosis had any units to go in and try and reinforce that. He's sending what little units he has left. And this is bad news because they are going to get surrounded and flanked by a huge clunk of Ling Ultra. And on this side, he actually has some units as well that could potentially flank these from both sides, meaning that Artosis doesn't have a way out, although he's taking the fight up on the bridge, which is a nice position. This Lurker is going to have a field day here with Spines up on top. Oh my god, the bio ball just blood galore. Legit busted, as Artosis rightfully says. Doesn't know how to beat it. Good question. I don't have the answer for you either. Hawk is bloody good at Starcraft. Maybe that's the answer to the question. More and more dead vessels. The amount of vessels that have died. I don't know. He is giving some advice. You got to bust it early or go. What? Hard turtle, 4 gas. Okay. Tank. Yes. I think tanks are certainly, when you see Hydra's tank, is probably necessary in your composition. You can't just get married to the bio vessel composition. Once again, I'm not an expert on the game. I'm just kind of trying to understand what Hawk is saying. 400 APM. Gee whiz. So good banter between the players. Mines, vultures. So advising Artosis that he probably needs a little bit of mech to support this build against this comp. I have seen Lurker Hydra combated by strong Terran players using more mechanical units than what Artosis has used in this game. And Artosis hasn't left as of yet. He has a whopping 36 supply, 5 SCVs, a couple of bio units on the ramp, and a few science vessels. I'm going to sign off now. There he does leave the game. I think just probably absorbing the loss. What an incredible battle this was. Thank you to both Artosis and Hawk for sending me the replay. Thank you to my Discord for the recommendation. I'm Rabbit Roo. I cast Broodwar on a regular basis. If you enjoyed this game, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, ciao for now.